So, ברוכים הבאים, everybody. בכלל, כל פרט ופרט, כל יחיד ויחיד. The concept in ענייני דיומא is a broad concept, but in general, whatever usage we use, we mean that there's an inyan to learn Torah in a way that's relevant to our life. And that is what I'd like to talk about today, is ענייני דיומא. But when we say ענייני דיומא, as I said, it's a broad term. I'd like to talk about ענייני דיומא on multiple different levels. First of all, ענייני דיומא, in the sense that we're standing ערב חג השבועות, ערב זמן מתן תורתנו. ענייני דיומא, in the sense of ספירת העומר, which on the one hand is a preparation for זמן מתן תורתנו, but at the same time, of course, as we all know, it is the time that goes together with the פטירת תלמידי רבי עקיבא, at least in the earlier part of ספירת העומר, and the avilut that goes along with that, שלא נהגו כבוד זה בזה. But I'd like to also talk about ענייני דיומא in terms of ענייני השעה, in the sense of our generation, and specifically things that have been going on within Klal Yisrael, specifically in Eretz Yisrael, specifically in the religious community in the past few months, especially since the recent elections. And I know that that's trying to put together a lot, and Bezrat Hashem, I daven to Hashem that לא אכשל במה שחז"ל אמרו, תפסת מרובה לא תפסת, rather we'll be able to piece it together to תפסת מועט תפסת. Okay, I'd like to go into the discussion from the first layer that I mentioned, and that is that we're standing ערב זמן מתן תורתנו. In many ways, if not one of, for sure one of, if not the most important day of the year, has remazim to that in the Gemara also. What I'll say right now doesn't sound so nice, but I'll share that the truth of the matter is that often when I see the schedules that different shuls have for Shavuot, in terms of the topics of the different shiurim, a part of me a little cringes. Now, on the one hand, it's not to say that I'm saying this, because it doesn't matter what the topic of the shiur might be, or the discussion group may be. We're learning Torah, and that's the way we're preparing for Matan Torah. So what's wrong with that? But I would like, yes, to emphasize that for a certain level of balabatim, that's fine. That's fine. Yoshvim Melodim Torah. But I think that for Bnei Torah, and for Ovdei Hashem, and for people who really, on the top of their priorities, they're looking to live a life of Yirat Shamayim, that's not enough. It does make a difference what my focus and what the content of that night is, and of course all the 49 days that lead up to it. And that is, כמו שכתוב בכל הספרים הקדושים לסוגיהם ולגווניהם. When we enter into a moed, הדברים ידועים, but it's always important to emphasize the term celebration is a complete breakdown. And even, I would even say harsher, chilul Hashem and chilul HaKodesh. There is no such concept. The English language, as the Greek many thousands of years ago, ruins Torah. En kazadavar celebration. And we take that with us into our relationship with the moed, and we destroy our relationship with the moed. Our language, we know today, Rav Uri can explain much more than I, but our language dictates the way we think. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when He created the diversity of Umot HaOlam, created us, or them, as Shiv'im Leshanot, back in Parshat Noach. It's all about language. How I speak determines how I think. Somewhat more so than the other way around. And therefore, language is crucial in terms of the way I relate to reality. So if I come with English language into Torah, we're celebrating Pesach. And celebration has all kinds of connotations, which many of them, biyachas to what really is supposed to be a kesher with a moed, is futility. Nothing. Ma ze celebrate? What does it mean? So therefore, what k'moshe yadua, v'katuv b'sfarim, and there's an avoda to try to understand, digest, and mesh it into myself, what that means. But the yearly cycle brings me back to stations in time that get to be re-evoked by just being there. And on some deep level, every human being knows that. Anybody who ever celebrated a birthday, Jews or non-Jews, even Paro celebrated his birthday,